see if anything happens now. They got me pretty bad yesterday. Actually, I might. Oh. We'll see if these blasted school kids are around at this hour. I slept early last night. It is 5:20 in the morning. And so I got up bright and early. I haven't brushed my hair or shaved. It looks awful. But yesterday, I got trolled badly. So now I'm going to try. And that was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So the kids had all gone home from school. And then, hello, how are you? And they got on here and just hammered me. And it was all down the left-hand side, right-hand side. It was all insults. So I'm trying at this time, because I'm figuring every teenager in the country is going to be asleep at 5:20 in the morning. Cheers. So this is more experimental than anything else. So if it happens to work, then the next feed I do, hello from Texas, how are you going, Dino? If this happens to work, then I'll do my feeds at this time instead of 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's the reason behind this. I'm just sort of trying it. Be good if I don't get one single troll. So I've been doing heaps of bikes, and I'm doing the two 350s and the 250, and I still haven't done much on the 750. Hello, Jambo, Scotland. My dad's phoned me from Glasgow. Good morning. How are you, Kevin? UK. Where in the UK are you from? My family are all from England. North, sort of around the Manchester area. Oh, London. A southerner. I haven't been to London for 30 years, and I drove a car all around London. Croydon. I'm not sure where Croydon is. But I love England. That's my second home. I haven't been for a long time. Probably been about 6 times a lot. And we used to go to this beautiful house called Preseli in Lytham, my grandma's house. It was 7 bedrooms, about 5 bathrooms. Oh, okay. Another guy from Manchester. And it was this beautiful home on Inner Promenade. It was 257 Inner Promenade in Fairhaven. Opposite Fairhaven Lake, and over the wall from Fairhaven Lake was River Estuary. So when the tide was in, you could sit in the house and just look at all the sea. It was beautiful. From English South Coast, Dorset. How are you going, Graham? I did a live feed yesterday, and I got absolutely smashed by all these school kids, obviously, and they were trolling me, and no one could get a comment in. The comments were just full of "you're pregnant" and all this sort of stuff, 'cause I'm fat. And it's just bored kids in lockdown. We're still on this lockdown thing, so I don't know. And to all English people, I've got my Yorkshire tea, as I always drink. Because I'll just suck it and see. We'll see how this goes, and if it turns out crap because they come back, then I won't bother. But it seems to be all right so far. It didn't take them long to cotton on yesterday. They must have been looking for it. Looking for things to do and then calling their mates up. So heaps on the 350s. I've got everything pretty much to finish 2 bikes, but they're still in the post. And one part I ordered in late July, early August, and it still isn't here yet. And it's a Kickstarter rubber. That's all it is. Just a little Suzuki classic Kickstarter rubber. I think, yeah, go and make a brew and make it Yorkshire tea. I've got another box. It was my birthday on the 15th, and my daughter got me this because, and you know what? This never lasts long. There's 200 tea bags in there. Never lasts long because all the kids drink it now. G'day from Yorkshire. Hello, Mark. You'd like that. So, yeah, so I've got everything on the way to finish bikes, but it's not here yet. And I had to order a headlight too because I ordered a CB500 clone type headlight to use on the Suzuki until I get the one from Andy and then find a globe because they're a really weird globe on them. Hello, Senor Peter from North Carolina. Hello, Ethan. How are you? So Just waiting on stuff. It's pissing me off because I so want to finish this stuff and I can't. Oh, okay. Hey again, Peter. Sorry about the fools last night, this morning. You saw that, did you? God, I got hammered. I got absolutely hammered. And you know what? I'm not even cross about it. It just means I looked at ways actually. One guy sent me some information on how to. You can slow the thing down, so because there's not many comments here because there's only 14 people, but when you get 100 and something people, the comments actually go past quite quickly. And there's a thing you can use to slow it. You can use that against them, and some other software. But I don't know. So we'll just see what happens. But I don't really want to have to go through that. It was a bit of a pain in the neck. What are you doing? I've got to brush my hair. I got up. I haven't brushed my hair or shaved or anything. You need to have some moderators to help knock them out. I don't know how to do that though. I don't know how to do that. And I mean, the live feed stuff, I reckon it's great fun. I really enjoy it. No one's on my daughter's up. Yeah, she's going to work in about half an hour. So she's up, but I kind of fall asleep quite early in the evening and always, well, lately I've been getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Yes, Yorkshire Gold, you've got the same stuff. There's one called Proper Strong, and I don't know. These are strong enough as they are. I always leave the tea bag in. I've never tried the Proper Strong. I was tempted to buy it because it's the same price. We only pay $6.50 for, what's that, like £3, not even £3 for 200 tea bags. But the Proper Strong one I've never tried. I was going to get it for my son because sometimes there's 2 tea bags in, which is ridiculous. I should say my daughter, actually. I just stuffed up. But, yeah. So a lot about to happen, and I'm about to get back onto the car too. I've got to get back onto a couple of cars. I've got to get back on the Bluebird. I think I mentioned all this last time, but I need some front end overhauling stuff. I've just spent a fortune on bike parts, like a fortune. Give the option. Yeah, I know. I did that. I'll make a moderator. So if I click on this, oh, there, it's set. What's add moderator mean? Oh, but I was clicking hide user or remove, report, but add moderator, I don't really know what that means. Yeah, I don't know. I've got to look into it because I don't really know what I'm doing. So yeah, I've spent a fortune. So the car, the Bluebird, I've got to finish that. I've got to finish. It means they can block the trolls. Oh, okay. Oh. Mark, I watched your XW and Wolseley summary videos today whilst eating my fish and chips. It's the first time I've seen those cars. XW is a nice motor. It is. I haven't driven it for a while. I haven't driven anything for a while because of this lockdown thing. Oh, do you? You moderate other chats too. I shouldn't need to do it at the moment because all the teenagers will be asleep at 5:30. And they'll probably watch this later and go, eh. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I've got to figure it out because that was just a whitewash. It wasn't very good. And I've had them. I mean, one of them, I don't know who they are, but I can find out. But when I get back to school, I'll find out. Because some kid will say to me, oh, did you see what's his name was trying it? Some kid will tell me. I'll find out who it is. The Plymouth, I haven't done anything. I actually haven't done anything on the Plymouth. I've got to take the front clip off to change the body mounts. And the Plymouth was supposed to be being underway now. Jason was going to trim it. And before I gave it to him to trim, I was going to, because I've got the body mounts there, I was going to change the body mounts, and which means taking the front clip off, jacking the body up, putting the new little like rubber puck things in, and then giving it to him so he could fit the headlining, and I'd get glass put in, and then he'd start on the trim. Because after that, it's chrome and bumpers, which is going to be thousands on that thing, and the exhaust. Oh, I've got to rewire the back half too. I've rewired all the front and the dash. The back half's easy. It's just lights. And after that, it's pretty finished. So everything I've got here is almost finished. Like nothing's started. I mean, the 350 custom bike that I've just begun, that can sit there for a while. I don't care. I'm not really doing much. It's just there because it's there. But the Plymouth's a beautiful car. I know. I've got to do it. I've got to start it, actually. I've got to start that, the XC, and what was the other thing? It's on the MG. I haven't done much. I haven't done anything with the MG. Harvey did the tacho for it because I put an electronic ignition and the old tacho didn't work. And so he's put a modern movement, for want of a better term, in the MG's tack so I can get that going. I've got to drive them. The MG's a nice little car, but the body needs doing. That's going to be a full resto, that one. I mean, the engine's all done. It's beautiful. The interior is gorgeous. I put a leather interior in it. It's lovely. It's just the body lets it down a bit. I was watching a video about rebuilding a 351 Windsor Ford engine. I'm 19 years old and planning on getting an old truck with a bad engine and want to learn how to fix and rebuild its engine. That's a good idea. They're all, engines are fairly easy, but you just got to measure all your clearances. And the XW's engine is the original block, the original crank, the original rods, and that's about it. The rest of it's all aftermarket. The pistons are aftermarket, and it was a smog engine from the US, so the deck height is higher, and its compression must have been about 6:1. So I put different pistons in with a higher crown height, and I would have been 7:1 originally, and I wanted to raise the compression up, and it meant, and I put a bigger cam in, so I had to make sure valves weren't going to hit pistons and all that sort of stuff. So the XW's engine, you just got to measure absolutely everything, and just so work out how to use micrometer, which is easy. Do it all in metric if you want, although I did it in imperial with that engine because it's American. But just learn how to use your tools, your measuring tools, and just clearance everything. And the other thing you need to do if you hone or bore is just wash out the bores with hot soapy water until when you drag a white clean piece of t-shirt through, you don't get any residue on it at all. So it's got to come out clean as it goes in. If there's any grey on it after you've done that, it means there's honing debris in there and it'll wear your rings prematurely. So just measure and clean. That's all you need to do. And the problem with engines is after your machine work's done and you bought all your bits, you spend quite a lot of money and you get one crack at it. And if you screw up, you know what I mean? You got a 500-mile engine rather than a 200,000-mile engine. XD is still sitting in the driveway with the cover on it. Haven't taken that out either. I moved it around, started. As I always say, the XD is very special. That's probably my most special car for me because I was a kid when Dad got it. And so all that memories are in it. Yeah, thank you very much, Bobby. I'm looking forward to getting into that, but I'm kind of daunted a bit by that one. Just getting it, and also driving it to a friggin' land yacht. It's a big car, but it's a good car because it's Belvedere, so it's got the it's the upmarket one. So with Plymouth, they name their cars after hotels. So the base model is the Plaza, then the Savoy, then the Belvedere. The Belvedere is the top of the range one. Then the really top of the range one's the Fury, but no one can afford a Fury. They're ridiculous, and they're beautiful. But mine's a two-door post, so it's a club sedan, they call it. It's not a hardtop. Get a manual for the vehicle specs and follow religiously for a stock rebuild and clean everything a little bit. Yep, good on you. Good. Very, very good advice. Getting a manual. Just freaking measure everything and measure it twice and measure it 3 times because if you're out, you're buggered. Yeah, I know the Furies are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But they're so expensive here. If you found even a hardtop Plymouth like mine, that model, the 57 or 58 hardtop here, you're going to be probably at $80,000 or so, $60,000 if you're lucky. Mine was 25, 27. No, mine was 25. I paid 25,000 for mine, which is a lot. That's a lot. And it owes me 27 now, I think. And so there's at least another 10 in finishing it. It's a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot of money. The XW is the most valuable car I've got. And I'm worried about that because they're huge money now. But as this new generation comes up, they're not going to like them so much. Do you know what I mean? And so I reckon XWs and XYs will sink in value. Because all your young guys now will be looking at 80s, 90s cars. They won't be looking at 60s and 70s ones. So we'll just see. I'm a little bit concerned. MGBs have always sat around, you know, probably 15 to 20,000 for a good one. A Dunger you can buy them for 5,000. The MG will, but the problem with MGBs is you can build a brand new one out of all the available parts except the engine block. You can even buy a new body shop for them. You do have to have a sacrificial car for the numbers though to register them, but British Heritage, what is it? British Motor Heritage? I can't remember. They make all that. They got all the original pressing dies for the MGB shells, and they make new ones, and they're really, really good. But the shells that they make are the latest shells with the bigger tunnel, so people always put the V8 in them. And British Motor Heritage, I think it's called. But mine's on its original body. Mine's a 64, so mine's an early pull-out handle one. But it's supposed to have a 3-bearing crank because it's an early one, but it's got a 5-bearing crank in it. I love the older cars, but you've turned me onto building the smaller, newer cars like the Sigma you did. The Sigma's a really nice retro car, but it's not a nice car to drive. It's all right. It's a bit underpowered, but yeah, you used to see them everywhere. You don't see them so much anymore, and they've never been a valuable car. The turbo ones were, but only to a niche market. A lot of people just won't buy Sigma. I think it's great, but the newer cars are good because people don't have stupid money for the prices. I was looking, and it's going like that with the motorbikes as well. I was looking at CB350 parts, right? And the CB354s, I got 2 of those, but the twins have a much nicer front end on them because they've got the twin leading shoe brake. And I'm looking for forks. I've got forks for mine, but I've got two right-hand ones or 2 left-hand ones or something, and I can't use them with the twin leading shoe brake. Yeah, I need the stanchions to be all right. It's just the fork bottoms I need. And there's a front end advertised $500, and you're kidding, right? And then they're going $600 for a frame, and then a headlight's $300, and all this sort of stuff, and it just becomes ridiculous. And you used to be able to pick this stuff up so cheap. I mean, of course, you're not going to pick everything up so cheap now, but you used to be able to. It was much better. Peter had a good channel, top shelf stuff. It's my belief the Australian and American car cultures are the same, except they drive on the wrong side. Yeah, they're all fairly similar. I was going to say Peter had a good channel. My bearings, my view numbers are just sunk though. Every time I pull a motorbike out, or a Starlet, or a Sigma, or something. Because when I started it, I don't know how the algorithm works. When I started the channel, it was the Wolseley to get a few numbers up. And then I picked the XW, and that shot everything up. Everyone liked that, but they haven't, and the XC as well, but they haven't liked anything else I've done. Okay, yeah, pre-computer cars are much simpler and easier to negotiate and easier to modify. It's like a motorbike. I'd never get a fuel injected one because I can't mess with it. So I'll just get a carby one. Not as good, but do you know what I mean? So yeah, the bike. I like the bikes. I just run out of room. I don't know what to build. The little 250 I built on the back porch. There's a deck with a roof like a pergola at the back. The Starlet videos. I've got everything here to do another one, but got nowhere to put one. And the Starlet was fun. Do a Japanese car if you're starting at doing this stuff. Grab a little Japanese car. You need a small, basic 10 metric tool. What do you call it? Socket set. Everything's 10, 12, 13, 14 mil. And some Japanese stuff doesn't even use 13. They just use 12 and 14 and 17. So, and just basic socket set, basic spanners, filtered screwdrivers, and you go. There's very few tools that very few tools that aren't just basic that you need for those sorts of cars, and they fit together so well. You throw a door on, just bolted up temporarily, and your shot lines are perfect. You do that with an Aussie car, you're there for 4 years trying to get the shot lines right. And I never get them right. I don't bother, which is bad. Do you have any social? I got Facebook. That's all. As well, I love watching your channel, and Matthew Chewington here on YouTube. I don't know who he is. There's always something different, exciting to watch. Thank you very much. Oh, number 13 on Toyota, unlucky number. They are quite superstitious, and the same with the bikes. It's all 12 and 14, not 13 mil. Shit, I never thought of that. No, I thought it was the Chinese that were superstitious, not the Japanese. I don't know. How about that? I never knew. But it makes sense. So there's a few things I want to do. I'm really super impressed with Alan Milliard and what he does. I could never put myself up against that guy. But I did think about, I looked on eBay at little 50cc chainsaw motors. You can pick them up for $40 or $50 or something. And the casting on them, where the barrel mounts, is the same. It's a symmetrical housing. And I thought, you could actually stick another, you get two of them and bond them together and have a 100cc flat twin. And I thought about doing that as a way to kind of get some confidence, mucking around with that sort of thing. But maybe later, I don't know. Or doing it with the Victor lawnmower. Because Victor, here in Oz, had their 160cc. They had a 120 and a 125 and a 160cc two-stroke motors. And on one Victor, they actually made a flat twin by doing the same sort of thing. And I thought on a little two-stroke it'd be easy because you haven't got valve training to worry about or anything like that. And he does amazing things, and anyone that watches him has got to be impressed. How could you not be impressed? And I thought, wouldn't it be great to sort of get something and muck around with that? Because I get bored easily. And sort of, I don't want to paint any more cars. That's why I'm sort of finishing the cars I've got, maintaining them. So the XW will get a lot of work done to it with power steering and all that sort of stuff. But I don't really want to get any more cars because it's just got nowhere to put them. And the ones that are outside, like the Sigma's really deteriorated because it was under a wet cover and the paint was never fully cured. And so I've got to repaint the roof and the bottom. So I thought, hello, Sammy. I thought I'll redo it. I'll make it look all nice, and I'll have to put a carport up or something. And the bikes are exciting. I love Japanese bikes. I don't really want, or an English bike would be nice. I don't really like Harley Davidsons, stuff like that. I know Geordie Campbell. Who's this Sammy G? Who's that? If you're a kid from school, you're up very early. I was trying to avoid you, like, because I got trolled really badly yesterday. I was on for 20 minutes, and there must have been 300 troll messages, and I just couldn't do anything. So what was we saying before? Go for it, yeah. 50cc. Alan is great. Alan's amazing. I surf YouTube all the time rather than watching a lot of television. I watch a lot of YouTube. And, you know, you get your resin art guys that are making, there's one that makes, I think it's called Resin Art, and he does timber and resin artwork and all this stuff. And, you know, you watch people make stuff and you watch restoration stuff and it's not really restoration. And, you know, you watch heaps of stuff and some of it, yeah, it looks good at the end. But once you see so much of it, the bar for being impressed gets higher and higher. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, the resin art thing, the first time you see it, wow, that looks great. Then you watch another one and you think, yeah, that looks good. And by the fifth one, it's like he's doing the same thing, you know. It's like, oh, and then more and more people get into it. And but you watch Alan, oh, I thought he was just adding cylinders to motorbikes. And that's incredible. But he was also making his own mountain bikes, and they were competitive and stuff like this. Martin Butler, I haven't seen some of his stuff for a little while. Martin Butler's good because he also varies what he's doing as well. He had about 3 different channels. He was doing T-shirt stuff and printing, and he was doing his restoration stuff. He had Retro Restore, and he also had Retro Hacks as well. And his son, Jimmy, is a painter. And the good thing about Martin is that he does a lot of varied stuff. I like Martin, and he's a nice man. He's a really good guy. And he responds to comments. If you write him a comment, he'll write one back. He's really nice. I'd like to meet him. I'd really like to meet Martin, actually, because he likes the bikes too. Hey Pete, greetings. Hello, where are you from in England? I'm one of Geordie's friends. Hello, Sammy. How you going? What's your name? Is it just Sammy G? I don't know. Yeah, he's a very, very nice fellow, Martin Butler. Geordie Campbell's a lovely kid. He's a kid from school, and he lives around here somewhere, and he always seems to be walking past my house. And you go to class. I remember I had him for Digitech, which is programming, coding stuff at year 8. Geordie's in year 9 now. And I had him in Digitech. And we used to, and they've got, my school, they're just doing heaps and heaps of building works. It's a very, very good school. But when they started knocking buildings down and building new ones, they put in a bunch of portables. And most of the portables are mint, but they've got 2 shabby ones down the very bottom, which are only there temporarily. And I was teaching Digitech out of one of them, 417A or B, I can't remember. And I go to the door, and Geordie's hanging out the window. He broke in through the back, and he's going, like that through the window, looking at me. Bruce, howdy. Oh, kids from school were trolling the crap out of me. Like, they were really trolling me. It was pretty bad, actually. So I thought, stuff it. I'll get on here at this time, and those little buggers will be sleeping. But there is a kid from school on here. Pit bike motors should be pretty close as they've been done before. CT90 motors are virtually the same. Common crank pin and idler sprocket for the cam chain. Yeah, because he did one. He can be a bit annoying, Geordie, but he's sweet. He's a nice kid. I just sort of kept seeing him out the front of my house looking at me. It's like, oh, what's going on? But he walks a dog, and he lives around here somewhere. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, the Alan Milliard thing is a pipe dream. I'd love to be able to do it. I'd love to stick another 2 cylinders onto a 350 engine and make a 6. But they have a shell bearing, which is very different, and the cranks are not, they're cast cranks. They're not pressed together, so you can't unpress them and add journals and so forth and weights to make a 6-cylinder crank. There's a joint not far from here called Crankshaft Rebuilders in Blackburn, and you'd have to get them to make a new crank and then build your case around that. But the way he was setting up the thing, the spacing and everything to build the cases was really good. I can't TIG weld though, so I'd have to buy a TIG welder. I'd have to really get good with that sort of thing. And I don't know how pure the, pardon me, material is that they cast the cases out of, but it might be really hard to do. There's a lot in it. There's a hell of a lot in it. Hello, mate. Greetings from Greenville, North Carolina. How are you going today? It's good to see you. Hello, is that you, Alana?
Yeah. Do you want some comments?
Yeah. Can I?
Do you want 2 or 3?
Oh, sorry. My daughter's offered to make me some breakfast. What time is it in Oz? Must be very late or very early. It is 5:45 in the morning. I fell asleep at 9 o'clock on the couch, and woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's great. But tried to get back to sleep, and I got up at 4. And yeah, I'm kind of really enjoying it. What time? Yeah. Have you got a Whitworth stuff on your MG? Most of it's just Imperial. There's probably a bit of Whitworth on it. And Whitworth's funny because when I was at White Horse Motors, we were doing Vogue SE Range Rovers in 1991, and they were still using Whitworth on the battery clamps. Have you seen a recent interview with Alan on YouTube? No. No, it's not egg and bacon, it's quarantine. No, I saw him, actually, I was watching, what are they called? You know when those guys in England do a fair shows like this, but like they go around old buildings and they, what's it called? They go around old joints and they pick up like bargain hunters, like something hunters. I can't remember what the show was called. No one was on it. They found this old motorbike. It was an old trials bike, the BSA one, I think. And then they go, here's legendary builder Alan Milliard. I'm sitting there thinking, what? And I'm watching the telly, and there he is. He gets on it, and he's popping my nose. He dropped it, and then he bought it. Salvage Squad, was it? I can't remember. But, yeah, English breakfast would be great, egg and bacon, but she's not doing that. and I'm too lazy. There's eggs. I bought bacon the other day, so I should do it. English breakfast is what, when I travelled around England as a kid, I was staying in this youth hostel in London, in Lancaster Gate, and I would smash an English breakfast, like a massive one, and I didn't need to eat till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Loved your colouring videos, helped me immensely. Still don't know why and when to use relays. So you would use relays on anything that uses a lot of current. Yeah, because the old switches are quite heavy to use, and they would not bother with relays. But as they get old, they get pitted and they get less reliable. So I like using relays on headlights, horn, anything that uses a lot of current. Some people even use them on the starter motor, even though the starter motor solenoid is a big relay in itself. But yeah, headlights and horn, you use them. You wouldn't bother with tail lights and interior lights and stuff like that. The tail lights are going to draw 40 watts or something. Was it find it, fix and float it, I think? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, the English do a whole lot of them. And I think it was selfish squirt, I can't remember. Junk and disorderly. We haven't, that's funny, sounds like drunk and disorderly. We haven't had that yet. Full English rock, especially the fried black pudding. Don't know about that. And the other thing, one thing I'll never try is the haggis, the Scottish stuff. The Scottish thing of haggis. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's no way to pig fit a beer in that stuff. But yeah, yeah. Oh, Keith, you're here. I didn't see you. How are you, Keith? Keith's a supporter with Patreon, so it's really, really nice to see you. Yeah, and that haggis, have you seen them making the haggis? I think they did it on How It's Made. And How It's Made is a Canadian program, and they show how stuff's made. It can be anything from tofu to mountain bikes, you know, they make anything. But if you've tried haggis, have you? I look at that and I just think, I could not put that shit in my mouth. Sorry if I've insulted you. It's one thing I just never wanted to eat. Is it? Okay. Yep, the Welsh guy. Selfish squad, yeah. Sammy, I don't know who's winning the premiership because there's no AFL at the moment, is there? Love the XC. The XC builds, and there's a great guy. I'd like to meet him. Graham is his name, and he's got a channel. He's a paint and body guy, and I've got his channel, XA Coupe guy, and he sent me a bunch of XC parts, including an eyebrow mod. And Grant Wickham is another one. He's been really supportive. Grant Wickham, he's given me bloody everything, and he offered me some stuff, and I felt I should have taken it, and because another guy offered me a bonnet thing as well, and I said to Grant, well, another guy offered me, but I don't know whose is better, but I don't really know how to say I want to pick the best one. You can't. You've just got to accept the generosity and be gracious about it. Yes, you did, Keith. Good to see you. Thanks so much. Vegemite, yeah. Vegemite is an acquired taste. I've never liked it, although I do like it with butter, if you know what I mean, when the Vegemite is very weak. So if you just have it mixed sort of with butter on toast or whatever, it's actually quite nice. Oh, thank you, darling. I don't know how to eat this and look polite at the same time. Okay, so what have we got here? I got cable TV, upwards of several hundred channels, and know how it's made. Thus, I do not watch TV. Do you like that? How it's made? I always liked it. No, the bacon's not here. I've got corn thin. She makes these little corn thin things with chocolate bits on them. I'm not going to be able to eat this and talk, am I? Yeah, I watch heaps of YouTube. Spam is processed ham. It's an American thing. It's really gross. Well, it's kind of fake meat, isn't it? But it's not. It's like ham bits that are all sort of pulverized and stuck in this jelly stuff. But this has been pretty good. We'll see if I can get to an hour. Marmite, I'm not sure what Marmite is. Is that an English thing, is it? I don't really know. Vegemite's a yeast extract. Oh! 9 p.m. here in Ireland. Oh, okay. How are you? Oh, Marmite. Yeah, well, it could be similar. I've heard of Marmite, but I actually don't know what it is. I don't know much about it. I ate anything though. Like Mum used to, when I was growing up, Mum would eat all these weird things, lychees and not lychees, which is this little white thing, and she used to eat olives and dates and all this stuff, and I couldn't stand any of it. But she wouldn't let us. I remember she was doing canteen duty or tuck shop, they used to call it. I went to a private school, it was a tuck shop. And I remember um, she was working in the canteen there at Yarra Valley. And I wanted Dim Sims because I saw this kid eating Dim Sims, and she goes, "No, there's no protein." So what? She wanted, maybe there was protein. I can't remember what she was saying about them, but she wouldn't let me have Dim Sims. She wouldn't let me have pies. She only let me have healthy food, which is good. The only problem with that is I rebelled from it after I was 18. I just ate every bit of crap I could find. It was donut and all sorts of stuff. You packed your bicycle bearings with Vegemite. How did that go? I saw a guy on YouTube with an old glass fuse box in his truck. He never changed it and cleaned it. Oh, I just cleaned it. I can't figure out why I didn't upgrade to a new type of square fuses in the box. They're the glass ones. Yeah, the EMG's got those. Yeah, 15-year shelf life with Spam. It's like McDonald's. Someone got a cheeseburger or a Big Mac or something. I can't remember what it was. And they left it for a year. Not in the fridge. It was just on the shelf for a year. And after a year, it looked identical. There was no mold. There was nothing on it. But you could knock on it and it sounded like wood. So, Promite, don't even know what that is. I'm not sure what that is. I've got to eat more of this. I need another bit. Does anyone know? I don't know what it is. Hang on, did you see the Monty Python sketch about spam? I haven't seen it, no. Daughter loves Monty Python. So I want to get back out and do some more work on the bikes. The weather's been fantastic here at the moment. But I'm just bummed about how long it's taken to get all these parts. A lot of them I buy on eBay, and the bought thing is huge. I mean, even things like the door seals for the XC, I've ordered all those. And they're only coming from, they're in Victoria, where I am, but they're not far away, and they're still not here. It's taken forever. I don't know why. I just fried spam with Frank's red hot sauce. I don't know what that is, but I was eating sushi. I love sushi, and there was a bit with a whole lot of wasabi on it. And I ate that. That burnt. But at the same time, it didn't stay hot for long. It was really hot, and it just went away. Old glass fuses in my box. In my 78 Ford Courier. I want to swap it for the newer type. You can buy them on eBay. They're just a block with the blade fuses. We call them blade fuses. And what did I get for the Plymouth? I think I used glass fuses in the Plymouth to keep it kind of period. I didn't want to use the coloured blade fuses in the Plymouth. I thought it would look funny. So I just bought a fuse block, which was a BMC type one. It was a rip-off of a BMC one with 5 fuses for the Plymouth. Because the Plymouth didn't have fuses. The only fuse in the Plymouth was for the radio. The rest of it was all circuit breakers. And so I wanted to have it so you could look underneath and there's glass fuses. I thought that would be period correct. The ones I don't like, the glass fuses I find quite reliable. The ones I don't like are the ceramic ones with a fuse wire wrapped around them, like Ford used to use in the XAs and XBs and stuff. What's the XW got? The XW's got glass. Yeah, XWs and XYs had glass fuses in a square box. XAs and XBs went to this stupid ceramic bullet that had the fuse wire wrapped around them. I really don't like them. But the glass ones I don't mind. Where are you, Mark? Why are you going into lockdown? Yeah, it's not raining at the moment. Yeah, you hear the rain. 4 months. A package from Perth to Adelaide. 4 months. Wow. Oh, Huddersfield. Where's that? Is that Midland or South or North? I don't know where it is. Huddersfield. I've never heard of Huddersfield. Oh, West Yorkshire. Bloody mess in the UK, is it? Yeah. Boris Johnson was sick too. He got coronavirus, but he got out of it all right, didn't he? Do you like Boris Johnson? I always thought he was a bit of a character. I got a harness from a Speedway for my 65C ton. Hang on, it's moving. On top of each way label, it has spade fuses. Yeah, the spade fuses are good. You can just hit them with a light. Oh, they had them on Volkswagens as well. Yeah, the bullet end there. I mean, the problem is here, those cars are sort of. You don't like Boris. I thought he was funny. He was on Top Gear, but I don't know anything about him. I just thought he was amusing. He's quite feeble, like his hair everywhere and his. What? Oh, I've lost it now. What do you think about deleting the gutters on an XC? The kind of part of the car. The thing with the gutters or the drip rails on an XC is they've got a stainless trim around them. That's something I still haven't got for mine. I haven't actually got them for mine yet. Oh, you mean sort of shave them off? Yeah, I probably wouldn't, but to each their own. If you want to do that, do it. Hope you and your family is running. How is the Starly running? Starly's great. I was in it yesterday. Really enjoyed the series. Keep up the attention to details. Very inspiring. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, characters are okay, but not running the country. That's fair enough. I'm in NC. Okay. NC, North Carolina. I'm tipping that's North Carolina. And I'm converting my 78 Ford truck from a 4-cylinder, wow, to a Ford 302 5-speed. So I upgraded the electrical as well. The 302, is that a late roller one with fuel injection, or is it an early one with the carby? Here's a buffer. Okay, so a lot of people. And when I went to Canada, I always thought Trudeau was quite popular. And I saw 2 trucks that said "fuck Trudeau" with a big sticker on the back window. I was like, wow, I thought he was popular. Sorry about the language. He's amusing, but should not be running a country. Yeah, okay. My old Austin originally had just 2 fuses for the whole car, no protection on some circuits with cloth-covered cables. Ditto, the MG is exactly the same. There's 3 fuses, one's a spare. There's 2 fuses and the spare lies between it. No, there's 2 lying down and the spare lies between it like that. It's crazy. There's no protection at all. I need to eat more of this. I haven't got brekkie. It's 5:06 in the morning. Starlingsburg, there's plenty of them in UK. Ian, what's his name? Hubnut. Ian, can't remember his name. He had one, he hated it. He said it was thoroughly ordinary to drive or thoroughly boring to drive. And then you get to know you Falcon in New Zealand, reckon it's great and it's got character. Seabrook, that's right. I'd say the Starling had a lot more character than I know you. AUs are great. They're good cars, they're good, robust cars, but I've never thought of them as having any type of character. What are your thoughts on non-original restos on XCs? Bigger motors, fine. Absolutely fine. The thing that I don't like my XC was a body shop when I got it. That was perfect for a turbo barra, this, that, and the next thing. I just wanted it original, so I went and got all these parts. The thing with it is, I don't like seeing when they get a good original car and strip it down and wreck it. But when they get a body shell that's half cut and build anything, that's great because it gets another one on the road. My CB350 was a good original running bike. And the guy on the key, the ignition when I got it, the guy's original number was there, so I rang him. And he was running a restaurant in Melbourne. And he goes, oh, how's it going? I said, well, it's not. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, it's black and it's a cafe racer. He goes, oh, no. And he started carrying on about it. Because he goes, he sold it as a good original thing, and this guy got it and pulled it apart and just munted the thing, you know what I mean? But, you know, if you get a car that you're going to hot rod or do something like that, it's always a shame if it's a good original vehicle, it's in good running nick. And if it's a heap of crap, well, then you would cut it up and do what you wanted to it. Trudeau seems cool. He's done a lot for the LGBTQ community, yeah. That's probably because he's young. A lot of the older guys don't relate to it too well. My son's transgender. My daughter is transgender, I should say. So sort of we've had a lot of exposure to that sort of stuff here. And also in the school, we've had a couple of kids like that. The Starleys do. They're dipped. You're really going to get a rusty one up. Never actually seen a rusted Starlet here. The most you see is some of the anodizing on the fasteners under the engine bay will be salt and pepper, and that's because they live near the sea. We had one that was new in Rosebud, which is on the sea, and there was no rust in it, but there was corrosion starting to happen around the fasteners. You can, yeah, they're very good like that. I put paint stripper on one, you know, scrape the paint off on the rear guard. That was a car I sent to the crushers. I was going to build and I didn't. That was one I was going to do with Charlie. That sat outside for a few months. Not one spot of surface rust anywhere. The only place that there was where a girl had it before me and had opened up the guard and torn it open at the bottom. And there was surface rust there because the plating, the dipping or whatever had been taken off there. But they won't rust. You can drive them through a salt mine and they won't rust. They're good little cars. Smaller cars do. Vauxhall Corsa was brilliant. 1.2 engine was brilliant. I drove the Cavalier around England and I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. The most fun cars too, it's always more fun to drive a slow car fast than it is driving a fast car. I mean, it just is. You go around some twisties in the Starley and you're thrashing the bags out of it, but geez, you have a ball. You're not even breaking speed. You're barely breaking the speed limit. So I was in that yesterday. I had to go visit Martin in her home and had to do some food shopping. And I love it. It's got everything I want in it. The problem is I've got too many cars. And so getting them out is a pain in the neck, particularly if you want to drive, like the XC is right at the back. It's behind about 10 cars. Yeah, it's always more fun driving a small car, a slow car fast. Okay, so I have a 1-of-1 3-speed 4.1 XC Falcon recently purchased. It's running, but sills, boot channels around the gutter trim, bottoms of all a heap of rust. A 1-of-1. What's unique about the car? Is it a 1-of-1 specification? I'm glad mine's fixed now. I don't think if I had my time again, I would have done it because it was just whoever had it before me really wrecked it. Sorry, I'm eating. So hello. Just like that great line from the movie The Castle. Telling me dreaming. Okay. That's the Titanic. And that's the SS United States. That's the Oriana. Hang on, there's more somewhere. Oh, they're in a shop and it's messy. The Oriana, my mum around the world when I was 9. And I've got the Queen Mary. the first one, the Canberra, and yeah, and the QE too. Is that the Canberra? I think it is. Yeah, that's the Canberra. At the prices of older car parts, it makes it financial sense to get an original one to modify. Personally, I dislike that, but that is why. Looking at my XH van, now trying to decide which way to go. I followed a Porsche one time in North Yorkshire along narrow roads. It braked. I saw something was coming, so I just sped along. Porsche one time in North Yorkshire along narrow roads. Oh, yeah. The roads up there are quite narrow, I remember driving down through southern England around Lyme, and they were, and also around Devon. There was some very, very narrow roads. Yeah, I love ocean liners, but it's sort of a dying thing now, particularly when one person gets gastro and the whole ship's leaning over the edge vomiting. That's not much fun. Yeah. Yeah, you use them as a safety car, so everything is going to get hit. It's him, not you. It's always good fun. Which bike am I most forward? Look, the 350 restoration. I had one as a kid, and I made up some rego plates. I was 15, and Mum and Dad went out, so I decided to go up to the shops, right up to shops to buy cigarettes. And so I'm on this thing. I think I'm a man, like I'm riding up. Oh, well, like this as a bloody police car, right? Coming out of Nees Road. I was on Park Road in Park Orchards. This policeman was in his car on Nees Road waiting to turn onto Park Road. He was turning left and I was going toward the shops. And he looked at me and I made eye contact with him and just shat myself. Anyway, I went to the shops, got the smokes, went home, never, ever did it again. He knew, that cop knew. He knew. And he was obviously busy because he didn't have time, but he knew what I was doing. And I never did it again after that. I did it in the XD too. This is before that. And I took the XD down Bringa Road. We used to live in Bringa Road in Park Orchards. Again, I think I was 14. And I didn't know how much to turn the steering wheel. I went down the bottom of Bringa Road. It's all dirt. And I did a U-turn, or a three-point turn thing, came back and floored it, and the back started coming out. And the problem with a Falcon, if you ever get the back and it comes out too far to the right, you're screwed, because when it comes to the left, you're going to go sideways. And I nearly smashed it. And the car was only a year or two old. It was a new car. And again, Mum and Dad had gone out. And they never went out, but on the times they did, I'd go for the keys. And I never took that car out after that. So I learnt my lesson, and I listened to the fear I had and never did that sort of thing again. But the motorbike was, I used to, because Mum and Dad wouldn't let me. The problem with the bike was I used to have dirt bikes, and they were noisy. We used to get complaints. And so I talked Mum and Dad into letting me have this 354, because I thought I was just going to get a little, I was looking for a 175 twin. I wanted something with more than one cylinder. I never had anything more than a single cylinder, so I wanted like a twin. And then I saw this 354, and it was $275. I've got the receipt for it still. And I didn't have the money, and Mum gave me the money, and then she put the float on the car, the horse float, and she went down to Croydon, and we picked it up. And riding it back from his house up Ellis Street in Croydon, I felt like I was on a CBX, because I was a little kid. And 350s are a little bike, but I felt like I was on this monster. And I just absolutely adored it. And that's why when I got mine, I was going to continue with the cafe theme, but it came with all its original parts. And I thought, I know exactly what I'm doing with this. And I made it identical to the one that I had, which was a silver one, which is only Japanese and Australian, I think. I don't know if European countries got them. I know in America they didn't get silver. They got the Bacchus olive colour and the red and all this sort of stuff. But the silver ones, I know they were local in Japan and here. They might have been Euro as well, I'm not sure. Yeah, recapturing my youth, that's right. And that's why I love the old cars, because they just make me feel young whenever I'm in them. I don't like new cars. I really don't. They look like Power Rangers. You see a new Corolla, and Corolla's a good car, and you see them and you think, is that going to turn into a robot? You can't see the clean lines of them. They're all jagged lines and just stuff stacked on top of stuff. I don't like them at all. And the old stuff have these sweeping lines, and I just don't know why they don't go back to that, because it's just aesthetically the most beautiful thing. When did you last ride your old 350? When I was 18. As soon as I got my license, I ditched it, and I had that, and I had a Dexon Eagle, and I wish I had that again too. A little Dexon is an American bike, and Dexon normally do. They usually have things like, they look like kit mini bikes with Kirby engines and like little 4-stroke Briggs type engines. And then they made the Eagle, and it's really a Hodaka. It uses a Hodaka engine, 80cc 2-stroke, but there's a lot of Hodaka in it. And these days, they're the same width front and back wheel, which was quite wide, and they were very daggy bikes back then. But these days, very, very collectible. And I had that, and I had the 350. At the end, I'd sold the XR, I had a little XR. And Mum said to me, you haven't ridden those bikes. You know, there's a guy that wants them. I said, just give them to him. Because I had my cars then, and I wasn't interested. But then it's like, oh, great, why would I do that? So my friend John Gibbons, who is a very close friend of mine, he came round and we took the old 350 down the road, and I would have been 18, probably 19. I don't know, but yeah. And that was a bike that I ruined by painting it 2 HQ Holden colours. One was a sort of electric blue, and there was a gold. And I tried to make it 2-tone, and I thought it looked good at the time, but you look back now and it didn't. So I got this, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go and recapture a bit of youth. And, you know, but the 750, the 250 as well, I mean, I start that and I sit on it. The 350 feels like a much nicer bike though. It feels much better finished off, and it would have been a much more expensive bike. So, for example, it just feels like proportionally nicer, if you know what I mean. It wouldn't be nearly, the 250 would be quicker. But things like folding footrests, the 250 hasn't got those. And the way it's finished off, its fit and finish is better on the 350 than it is on the 4-cylinder 350 than the 250. But then it's a different price bracket. The problem with 354s is they're not very quick, and in modern traffic, a lot of cars that blitz it. And in motorbikes, if you're on a motorbike, you kind of want to be the one with the advantage of being able to get away from traffic if you need to and whatnot. So there's a lot I've got to be careful of, because I haven't ridden in years, and so I'll be doing it just on a Sunday morning when there's no traffic around. I need more tea. Some of it's gone cold. So yeah, that's probably about it really. I'll keep it sweet, and I might go ahead and do some work now. I've got all the lights working on the 350 now, but I've had to use 250 rear indicators because I can't find. I've got a box somewhere that's got some of the 350 stuff in it, including the rear indicators. And the other one, the custom one I'm doing, I'm waiting on parts. I can't do anything. The custom one I'm doing, I don't know, is anyone familiar with the police bikes? I had like a creamy coloured frame and they were cream all over. I don't want that, but I thought doing the frame a different colour, I was originally just going to go black, but I thought, no, I'll do it differently. And I found some really nice custom gauges and all that sort of stuff. So I thought about doing some stuff like that, making it a little bit different, because, and the only thing is I'll never cut the frame, so I can always return it to stock if I decide that I don't like it. But there's a police Speedo on eBay from a CB 750. I thought, and it's a big thing with fine increments. I thought, oh, that'd be cool. So anyway, it's almost an hour. I might pull the pin and say thanks so much for joining me. It's been really good, and we haven't got trolled once. That's really good. And there was even a kid here. That's even better that he didn't troll me. So on that note, if no one else has got anything to say, I'll pull the pin and finish my breakfast. I'm really looking forward to you completing the CB750 with Coldwell Motors tank. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I've got to finish that. Gary gave me that tank, and it's a perfect tank. And so, you know, that's a bike that I'll hang on to. The trouble with me is I want to hang on to everything. And it's getting to the point now where I probably won't be able to, but some things I will hang on to. That 750 is one of them. Yeah, so thanks very much, and for joining me and for not trolling me. I didn't enjoy being trolled. It was funny, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to finish my breakfast, and I might go outside. It's now 6:25 in the morning, so I don't see anything wrong with getting a few spanners swung around and getting some work done. Thank you, Keith, as always. Thanks, Mark. And I've got, what have I got in the way of videos? Hang on. What have I got in the way of videos coming up? Not much. Hang on, just before I go. Okay, so I've got 350 Custom 3. I've got, what was I working on then? Hang on. Oh, I got all the plating done on the 350 on the custom bike, and it all came out really, really well. I should have left it in here. It's in the garage. So all the plating's done for that. So just as soon as I get that, there's a bit more hydroblasting to get done, and then I can, once I get that reduction gear for the start of that whole engine can go together, and then it's finished. And I might send the frame off for powder coating this week. I'll see if I can afford it. I've been spending a fortune. The 750, I've only got a tiny bit of footage on the 750. The 250 Suzuki, I've got a little bit, where I'm putting the regulator and everything in. And the XC, I haven't started on yet. The Bluebird, I've got a little bit, just a tiny bit. So I've got sort of like 4 videos on the go at the moment. Yeah, I've got 4 videos that I'm working on at the moment, but none of them have an awful lot of content. So I'm kind of stuck. Anyway, when will I get back onto the Plymouth? Probably sooner than later. Because if these parts don't roll up, I've got nothing else to do. The Plymouth, I'm waiting on some consistent, like a couple of really good days, so I can leave cars outside, because I've got to pull quite a bit of stuff off it and empty the boot out and empty the back seat out and always, so I can lift up the body, because there's bolts inside the car that I need to get to. But once the Plymouth body mount's done, I'll be relieved. I'm really actually quite stressed, not stressed, I'm kind of more worried about doing that. But anyway, so there's not much coming up. Well, there's a lot coming up, but not much I've filmed yet. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.